Do you guys like my new do? I got a haircut yesterday. And, okay, listen. You know, like, whenever you're done, like, getting your hair... Actually, this is probably a question for the ladies. Ladies, you know when you get your hair done and you feel, like, fabulous for, like, the next 24 hours? That's literally me right now. I'm like, I see why I'll get your hair done. This is awesome. I mean, don't get me wrong, I always do my haircut every 100 days or so, or roughly to 100 days. And I was actually supposed to get my hair cut next Thursday, but my barber called and she told me that she has an appointment at the time that she would be doing my haircut, so we moved it up to yesterday. So my hair looks fabulous right now, doesn't it? I'll tell you what though, I can already tell that the instant I walk out the door, I'm immediately gonna have like a cold wind go right over my scalp. I'm gonna be like, woo! That's literally gonna be me as soon as I get out the door. So yeah, my high is the fact I got a haircut yesterday. My low is I was horribly wrong about the Broncos winning. In fact, I'm going to rectify that right now. Let me get my notes out, my NFL picks out. I am now 0-1 going into the week. Let me show you right that. 0-1. There we go. I'm 0-1 going into the week. Going into Sunday. Let me double save this real quickly. Let's first save. And there we go. Always double save. Okay, so, yeah, now you guys know that my NFL pick yesterday was incredibly wrong. With that said, not only did I get my haircut yesterday, but we got a really great episode of Hot Ones with Peter Dinklage, man. That's cool. And my act of kindness was, here's the thing, it wasn't something that I did that's gonna be for like a moment in, like, here's the thing. Full disclosure, I got my Christmas shopping done early. And by Christmas shopping, I mean I homemade a bunch of a certain kind of gift. If I did this correctly, I'll be able to afford everyone's Christmas gifts and probably Easter gifts. So, yeah, I did. Yeah, do work, son. Know what I'm saying? So I did that. Right, we have a new episode of Hot Ones to talk about with Peter Dinklage. And Peter Dinklage is one of those actors that whenever he's like on screen, he immediately garners like your attention and respect. Which that's actually what, I mean, listen, everybody knows at this point Peter Dinklage is a little person. And in the beginning of his career, and he'll talk about this, and I'll mention this later when we get to The Last Dad. But, you know, as a little person, you know, there's only certain roles that little people are allowed to do. Specifically being like an elf during the holidays or, you know, a leprechaun during St. Patrick's Day. That's just how Hollywood works. That's usually how Hollywood works, okay? That's not me. In fact, one of my all-time favorite comedians is Brad Williams, another little person. And he's literally said that himself. So, you know, that's how it is. But Peter Dinklage was the guy who, like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to be a great actor. I'm going to do the roles that I want and rightfully earn, because I know that when it comes to auditioning, I'm the best actor for the job. And it's Peter Dinklage. You know he's done that time after time after time after time after time, and that is why he is awesome. I mean, I knew that, but it was after watching this episode where, like, you know what, he validated his parking. That's what he did. Like, I already had respect for him, like, before going in, but he validated his parking. So, with that said, the first question Sean asked was, what is because Peter Dinklage has done several roles, specifically on Game of Thrones, where he, portraying a character that's under the influence, usually of alcohol, and you need to act as sober as you can. Those were his words. Basically, like, if you were drunk, let's say for the sake of argument, if I was drunk, and I knew I was drunk, I wouldn't want to openly express that. I really would try and remain hyper-focused and remain I would try and act sober, even if I was under the influence of alcohol. I mean, Lord, heaven forbid, I've never been under the influence of alcohol. But I know the feeling of getting buzzed. I know that. And even under those circumstances, I'm like, I am hyper-focused. I have places to get. I have to remain, proper. And I also have to make sure I'm able to drive. So, don't drink and drive, okay? Do not drink and drive, folks, okay? My father will tell you that's $10,000 you're never getting back. And that's the tip of the iceberg. Okay. So, they talked about is this really happening moment, which for Peter Dinklage was, he was in the chorus of a Shakespearean play, and, like, basically the chorus in a Shakespearean play is, like, the people that, they're kind of, like, narrating or, like, dialogue or whatever, and he was throwing up. And a lot of the audience thought, like, okay, he was probably just, like, faking it, but no, he actually did throw up on audience members. Accidentally, of course. Not a proud moment in his career. He talked about what defines a great actor's director. By that, he means, like, all directors have their own different styles. Especially when, they were actors at one point and now they're directing. Every director for any given project has a vision. And it's up to the actors to be able to portray that vision to the very best of their abilities. Now, some actors will, walk up to the director and say, hey, listen, for this scene, maybe instead of saying a line like this, maybe I could say it in a different way. Stuff like that. And over time, there's a level of trust that builds between the actor and the director. So, you know what? It's a life lesson. That is a life lesson. No matter what profession you're in, you need to be able to treat others with respect and be able to earn trust. Because that stuff pays dividends going forward. It really does. I mean, I can't tell you how many times just being kind to a person has led to so many great relationships I've had with others. They talked about, when it comes to looking for a project he's doing, he's looking, like, he'll look at the script and pay attention to the dialogue. Like, the genre, that definitely plays a big part, but the dialogue. Because on the surface, you really could have the idea for a great movie. But without good dialogue and communication between the characters, you're never going to have anything great. Honestly, that's why, here's the thing. Of course I thought about being like a writer and stuff like that. But my style would not bode well for the cinema. I'm actually a little too wordy for my own. If you couldn't tell, considering I've done almost 2,500 videos now, I'm a little bit too wordy to be a writer. and here's the thing, I'm very well aware of the whole concept of show, not tell. I'd be doing way too much telling. I wouldn't mean to do it either. It would just happen, I swear. I mean, okay, I don't think I'm that bad, but I get the feeling that's exactly what my problem would be. He once Peter Dinklage also talked about how he still has a scar from getting kicked in the head while performing a combination of rap and punk rock at heebie-jeebies. That's pretty cool. And he actually talked about it, true or false. Is it true that Charles Dance would apologize for what his character did to Peter Dinklage's character on Game of Thrones? Yes. Charles Dance is actually a very nice human being. And I don't watch Game of Thrones, but I do know that, his character is really mean to Peter Dinklage's character. And so much so that Charles Dance would actually walk up to Peter Dinklage after filming. It's like, I am so sorry I did that. You know what? That's exactly the kind of actor I want to be. Like, if Lord willing, I ever get in a movie and I play a villain, and the kind of villain I play is just the worst, scummiest, most dislikable character in all of fiction, I would legitimately apologize for how I portrayed that character. Because that's just the kind of person that I am. He likes how, when it comes to doing like budget films as opposed to big blockbuster films, there's a speed in which here's the thing, for a low budget film, or really any film in general, there's always a lot of people working on it. But with low budget, that's not so much of a problem, and you're able to work faster. There's more hands-on approaches between the actor and director, just like I mentioned earlier. And one problem that blockbuster movies do have over low budget indie films is definitely marketing. So listen, there's a lot of things. Listen, a lot of things got to go right for a movie to work. And again, two of those things are people, the people involved, and again, marketing. I can tell you some of the best movies I've ever seen were like Batman: Mask of the Phantasm and The Iron Giant. They're great movies. And then whenever people talk about them, they always wonder, like, why didn't they perform well at the box office? Did you go see it? No. Why do you think you never saw it? Well, I never knew about see, that's the thing. And this is something that Warner Brothers has had a problem. To this day, Warner Brothers still has this problem where they've had really good movies, again, like The Iron Giant or Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, that to this day are beloved by many. But you wouldn't know it. But there were hardly any commercials for it. I only knew about The Iron Giant because I watched TV constantly when I was a kid. So when the time came to see The Iron Giant, I'm like, Mom, can we go see The Iron Giant? And we saw The Iron Giant. So, yeah. They talk about the taglines in his movies, like, it's about to get medieval up in here. The Knights of Badassdom. Ever had one of those nights, 13 moons? You're invited to return to the games. Hunger Games, Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I think is what it was. Let's see. Loneliness is better if you have someone to share it with, and that's The Station Agent. Family is a life sentence. Brothers, that's what he was. I was right. Peter Dinklage is on Hot Ones to promote his movie Brothers with Josh Brolin, Glenn Close, Brendan Fraser. Seriously, it sounds like a really good cast. He only needs 3 things to get through that day: an espresso, an aspirin, and a miracle living in oblivion. Oh, right, a miracle. That's living in oblivion. I'm sorry. Okay. So, the odd job he remembers the most fondly is working at sanitation at a park. just because he knew this one like really cool old guy who was like 70 years old and really like wise and sage beyond his years. That's really cool. And you know what? It's something the last dab is something I alluded to earlier. Like, because Sean asked him what his acting rock bottom is and what he did to get out. Basically, advice for actors in a way. And that perseverance is definitely a key. No matter how bad things get, there's always something good that eventually comes. Sometimes it takes longer to show up than normal, but it does happen. So you gotta persevere, remain optimistic, and surround yourself by really good people and collaborate with those people. And if they wind up inspiring you, that's even better. I can tell you right now, listen, to be fair, this is a lesson that technically I already knew. But, and in fact, I've actually said that many times doing these videos. But hearing someone of Peter Dinklage's caliber saying that on Hot Ones of all places, that doesn't just make for a good episode of Hot Ones. That just makes for a good moment in time in general. Because, as I mentioned earlier, Peter Dinklage had to go through a lot to get to where he is right now. And he's one of the most beloved actors on the planet. You know, listen, you're going to find this hard to believe, but I really don't think that highly of myself. If heaven forbid, if Lord willing, I wind up becoming an actor, and I wind up making, and I wind up finding myself in bad movie after bad movie after bad movie, but people say that my acting is about half as good as Peter Dinklage's acting is, I'll consider that doing a good job. I mean, obviously I would try not to be in bad movies, but, Hollywood, sometimes that just works that way. Overall, this was a fantastic episode of Hot Ones. I've got, no complaints or nothing. Pretty much flawless. And, yeah. That's about all I got for now. I hope you liked this video. If you'd like to subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very humble in this video. For all of you guys who watch and enjoy for today, hopefully you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. Oh, happy Friday, folks. And remember, if any of you guys want to talk or tell me, we'll be here to let me know you're back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.